Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. I have the amazing Carolyne Onkoba here. You guys will not believe her story. It is just amazing. And I had a chance to talk with her, so I'm just like completely thrilled and excited because she's amazing. So here I go and introduce you, Carolyne.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for having me here. It's exciting to be able to share my story because I believe there's power in sharing stories. At times people don't think they're on their own, like they're the only ones going through the stuff, but some of us have gone through the walk. So if we talk about our stories, it might encourage someone and it might give somebody an insight of what's going on in their life. So thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I met you through Facebook actually, and anything is all about networking, I believe. But going through your Facebook page, I would have never in my entire life believed your story. So when you see a person being so successful, such as yourself, and automatically, I don't know if it's just me, but I've always thought, oh, well, they've always been successful without knowing all the struggles. And your story, to me, it's just amazing. Tell us about your story because it's just so exciting. I want everybody to hear about it.
Okay, thank you so much. So it's a long story, but I'm going to really give the value out to what I think is going to help everybody out. I'm originally from Kenya. I come from a large family of 10. There's I have 9 siblings, so 8 girls and 9 total girls and 1 boy, right? So my mom was a very busy lady and they were very hardworking. So I bring that in perspective to say that everything that I have today, I would not be here today without my parents. My parents were extremely hardworking people. They were honest, they were very focused. And I decided to move to the United States in 2002. And as I was sharing with Vicky before, it wasn't in my father's will to let go one of the other children because some of my siblings had already left the country. So I moved from Kenya to America with $500 and came to New Jersey, Jersey City. I would never forget. I still have that shock. I was just mortified because what you see on TV is not what you get here, right?
So true. So true.
I said, is this it? They're like, what do you mean? I said, this is America. They're like, yeah, you just landed. The plane say that. This is Jersey. And oh my goodness. That was a different peak on that, right? So I moved here, I was 22, had $500 to my name, was registered to go to a private university. And everybody who is in America knows what that means. It's extremely expensive. But it was about the faith, that I had instilled in me when I was young. I knew things were going to work out. I don't know how, but I knew they were going to work out. No, my parents never paid a penny of my school fees. They did not, because they don't have that kind of money. And they still had more children to raise. So I came to New Jersey, went to Fairleigh Dickinson University as my first college that I came in here. It was extremely expensive. And as I was telling my story on Facebook the other day, it takes a community to make a person, right? I had so much support from friends, people that I knew from back home, giving me a meal. At times I didn't even have money for food. And I didn't tell you this, Vicky, but these days I would buy Chinese food, the big container, and I wouldn't eat it all because I didn't have enough money. So I ate half for lunch and half for dinner. And at times I only had half of those one day and another half the next day.
Oh,
but
wow.
I knew that there is a way and I can do it. And a little bit of background, my parents were very hardworking. They had a substantial amount of money. They're considered affluent from where I come from, right? But I knew inside of me that I could do more and I could make my own life, right? So I could have packed my bags, asked for another ticket and turned around and went back to Kenya. But I knew inside of me that there's something greater that I can do if I took myself away from my parents' business. I started working for my parents when I was 10 years old. So most of my good character, good work habits come from my parents because you didn't matter that you were their kid. You wake up extremely early in the morning and you work all day long, some days without lunch. So I guess that came from my mom and dad, not having lunch breaks as a nurse. And another thing that drove me so much was because my father had not much faith in the whole idea of me moving here. So that gave me the drive to prove prove him wrong and to myself that I can do it. So I went through college. I was able to graduate from George Mason University in 3.5 years. And there were some painful years, you know, and without having places to sleep at times and, you know, moving from one place and bouncing to another place. But I worked nights and I went to work and I went to school during the day. So that was my life, right? And my first job was UPS. I think this is important for everyone to. It doesn't matter where you're working, just do your best, because something is gonna open up for you if you remain faithful and you're hardworking, right? When I used to work in UPS, they used to have like the scanning thing. If you go to stores, they have like the people who scan the fastest and all that stuff. UPS has the same thing. I got that award so many times, and I only worked there for 6 months. And there was
impressive.
There was nights that it was so cold, and you know the metal with your hands, they're touching, and it's like electric shocks. But I just knew that, you know, I'll have some money that I'm gonna buy food, and I had some money that I'm gonna use for the bus ride. And unfortunately, I dropped out of school for 1 semester because I couldn't afford to pay off Fairleigh Dickinson to go to another semester. So then what did I do? I took 2 jobs and I was working nonstop. I did not do anything. I was so precise in things that I was doing. Now I have this knowledge and I can go back and say I lived it, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was very naive. You know, I was very unconscious. I was a very unconscious competent, right? Because I was in my house, at work, or at the library. If you wanted to find me, those are the 3 places you'd find me. And I told Chelsea's father, was like, it can't be that way. So one time I'd forgotten my keys and was bringing them to college. He found me the same spot I told him I sit at in the university in Rutgers, right?
Oh, wow.
That is how much focus we need when we want something. You can't be here and there and think things are gonna come. You might miss an opportunity if you're sliding the wrong place, right? So fast forward, I moved to Virginia. Thank God for that. There's nothing wrong with Jersey, but the environment matters. When I came here, people were a little bit different. The culture was different. You know, anybody who knows Virginia, it's a little bit expensive, but it gave me a different kind of drive, right, to push through when I was in George Mason, right? Again, I looked for a job, and I remember going back and forth in a bus to New Jersey on weekends because I didn't have a job in Virginia, to go work there because my job, I needed my job in New Jersey.
The only thing I'm going to say to that is, wow.
So I used to take a bus at night on Friday. I go work Saturday, Sunday, and then I come back. So I used to do 2 16-hour shifts, right? Then come back and then go to class the next morning, you know, and that's how I knew I needed money to be able to eat and sleep. I did get some student loans, but they don't cover everything you need.
Yeah,
and then, of course, I was blessed to get pregnant. I guess to me, it's a blessing, right? My last year of college, and I'm sitting there, and I've never said this publicly, but I'm going to say it today. Nobody knew I was pregnant, except, of course, Chelsea's father. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my sisters. I didn't tell anybody. And this is very important for everybody to remember. If you know the people you're associating with are not going to support where you are, whatever situation you're going through, whatever point in your life you are, you have no business sharing it. Because once you share it, they can discourage you, right? And I didn't think my family was going to do that, but I knew everyone was going to be like, oh, you're pregnant now, you're going to drop out of college, how are you going to do this? I didn't need the ifs and the buts. All I did now was add more strength to my drive, because now I have somebody that has to depend on me. So there's no dropping out of school. So I'm pregnant. I'm working full-time. I'm going to school full-time, right? And
You're still walking and taking the bus?
Bus and train. I used to take a bus and a train to get to Washington, D.C. Sibley Memorial Hospital. Wow. I remember that so well. I used to take 2 buses. One bus from where I lived to the train station, one bus from the train station to closer to work, you know, to the clinical site. And I did that for 6 months because there was nothing that was going to stop me, right? And I remember I missed my last clinical, and my phone, I didn't have a phone. And so I didn't know how to call and let the teacher know, because I had never missed school. So everybody started freaking out, like something bad happened to Carolyne, blah, blah, blah. So I finally found a way to go to the library, which was not too far. I walked there and I sent an email to the teacher. I said, I'm sorry, I was really sick. I was admitted in the hospital at night, but I didn't have a way to communicate to let them know. right? Because I didn't tell the people in college that I was pregnant. My teachers didn't know because I had hyperemesis, so I lost a lot of weight. So nobody knew when I gained the little weight that I was pregnant. So again, you have to find a way to leverage what's going on in your life, right? If you go telling people a story and they can either support you, discourage you. There's so much people can do. But those things, I didn't want the noise in my life, so I didn't tell anybody that I was pregnant. Even my college people didn't know I was pregnant. So then my daughter came 2005, so I still had another year of school, and I met a lady at work who was like, oh, I said, I don't know what to do. She was like, you can't drop out of school. School is all you have. So what you're going to do, you bring your daughter to my house in the morning. When you go to school, I'll watch her, and then you can come grab her in the evening. And that's how Chelsea was raised. Her father used to drop at my friend's house, knock the door, leave the baby there. I didn't have money to pay a babysitter. You see what I'm saying? So you say stuff to the right people and they can support you. You really have to make sure you're saying it to the right people. That's my emphasis here. I did a lot of praying. I'm a woman of God and I believe in that. I prayed a lot. I was on my knees all the time and doors kept opening, but my job was to keep my head up, stay in action every single day. And yes, I did graduate in 3.5 years. I invited my father to the United States with my mom. It was the first official graduation they ever attended for all their kids. They had never really had a chance to do that. So for me, it was like amazing. It was so amazing that I was able to do this thing for my parents. And I remember being so happy, but I couldn't celebrate all the way because I'm a nurse, right? So for you, finishing college doesn't mean you're a nurse. You have to do your boards. So here I am, people are celebrating. I'm celebrating, but not quite celebrating because I have to study for my boards, right? And I'd already signed up for 2 jobs. Started working 2 jobs before I even got my license, right?
Wow.
So I'm studying for my boards and I'm just like, God, I have to pass. Because if I don't, then they have, they take back your employment and they can't. Because now I need to pay bills and my sister moved here, I had to help her. My parents were here for a month. So everything had to fall in place.
Oh, no pressure. No pressure.
No,
okay.
No.
You go all out. You're going to do it all out. Go. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So I was just there. I remember the day I passed my boards because you can check your results on the computer. And I just turned that thing on and I was just freaking out because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to see it. And then George Chelsea's father opens it and I'm like, oh my God, I passed. I was screaming, Vicky. That was like the best ever victory that you can ever receive. And
I can only imagine.
I know. And I'm juggling 2 jobs while studying for my boards, because nothing was going to stop us. Nothing ever was going to stop me, right? So we moved to the area that we live now. We've been here since 2006. Very nice, quiet neighborhood. And it's just hard work, faith, focus. And you just have to finish what you start. I mean, if I tell anybody, and your surrounding, your environment is extremely important. Your friends are extremely important. If they're not serving you and they're not adding any value to your life, just say hello and just don't engage with them. It's okay. Even some of your siblings are going to fall off. I'm known as the different kid, right? And I've embraced it because I think differently, I do different. Doesn't mean that so-and-so is not good, but my thinking is different. So I don't want somebody to interrupt my thinking, Exactly. And yes, I do take good advice, but I really try to just study on my own. So this all sounds crazy and hardworking. I'm working 3-4 jobs now. I'm a nurse. I don't know why I was working that many jobs. I know. I was supporting my sister to go to college and everything. And then my mom got really sick. That was like a big turning point for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She was here for my sister's graduation. She wasn't doing really well. And she decided to go back home because our people are a little bit different. Our culture is a little bit different. My mom felt like she was supposed to be at home with my dad. So she went home. She had a heart attack in 2012. And then quickly after that, she died. Like from May, and then she dies in whatever. But when she spent time here, I was listening to the way she was talking and what was going on. My mom was so hardworking. And every time she was on the go. Yes, she loved us. We did not lack anything. I cannot sit here today and say I lacked anything. But she never got a chance to really create the moments and, have that quality time with us, to get to really be with us. And I can't blame her. You have 10 kids to feed. The priorities get all rolled up.
It's a lot. And I think it's, it's old school too. Our parents were in a different generation too. They were brought up the way they were brought up. So you can't. And she had 10 kids, one boy.
I know. So because of that, when I saw my mom not enjoying her retirement, we can call it retirement, because she was done with my last born sister. She's like, done. I don't have to work anymore. They own their own properties. They have all this. So she stopped working. And also her body had really degenerated more than anything else. So there's something called compound interest. And I wanted one to pay attention to that. The cookie we are eating today, the smoking, the unhealthy habits that we have, they do catch up with us. My mother did not drink or smoke, but my mother worked her body so hard. She used to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. At times doesn't go to bed till after midnight. My mother drove 18-wheelers when the drivers didn't show up. There's nothing she didn't do. But I think when she finally stopped, her body was like, oh, there's nothing left. So it's important for us as entrepreneurs, as people in corporate world, whatever job that you're doing, you will have to get full rest. We have to stop and rest. We have to stop and sleep. We have to stop and take vacations and holidays. Doesn't mean you have to travel somewhere. Just stop for your body to rest, to be able to regenerate itself. Because I think for me, that was a big thing for my mom. Because she was very healthy eater, she didn't eat fried food. She didn't do any of the things you can say, oh, she had risk factors. She didn't. The only risk factor my mother had was she was extremely hardworking. And really, people have to slow down, create those moments so that you can make your dash count. My mom's dash counted because she put so many people ahead of her. When she passed, there was over 1,000 people at her funeral. And they were not there just because they wanted to show up. They were there because they were mourning the woman who made their life, right? People are like, oh, she paid my school fees. Oh, she did this for my wedding. Oh, she took my kids this. Oh, she used to give us food here. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you did all that and you still took care of all of us, right? And
what a testimony. I mean, that's amazing.
Yes, she left a legacy. But I always feel like she missed out at the same time, because now here we are, 10 of us, still happy, healthy, have lots of children. I have 20 nieces and nephews that she never got to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she got cut short in life, right? But I'm saying that to encourage people, to also warn people. Enjoy yourself, your family, your loved ones, whoever that is now, every day. Tell them you love them, call them, see them as much as you can, because we don't know tomorrow. There is no tomorrow at all, right? And for me, with my mom, that's one thing that I learned. And her being here, us spending time together, I learned so many things, but it forced me to think of life differently, because I had 4 jobs, as I told you, Vicky. And I was working every night. I was just like a zombie. And I posted something on Facebook the other day where I talked about my daughter saying, Mommy, you were always there and you know everything that was going on, but you were not present. I said, what does that mean? You were always sleeping. You were always sleeping. And for a 13-year-old to tell me that, she was like, I'm glad now you are awake and present. Like, she knows and she can feel the difference. And I really thank God that I was able to slow down. But it didn't come that easy, right? After my mom passed, of course, now it's like your world stops for a moment. What did I do? I went right back to what I'd said I was not going to do, working for a job, right? But then with time, by 2016, I was feeling empty, unfulfilled, just feeling like life didn't mean anything. I was kind of getting depressed. I had to go get counseling and all that stuff, because my marriage was falling apart, because of the busyness. And even if we are running towards the goals of like having this nice, comfortable life, you leave your partner there, they get lonely, and I take my part. He can take his part that he played in it, but my part, I know I didn't pay enough attention. I didn't pay enough attention to my home, my daughter and her dad. And I know that. I'm not going to say that like, oh, he did this and he did that. If I was present, these things could have happened.
Yeah. And it's hard, because when you're going through it, you're so focused trying to do something, you don't realize you're doing it. You know,
Yeah.
it's good that you acknowledge your mistakes and you learn from mistakes. That's
Oh,
how you grow into the person that you are now.
yes. So then in 2016, I fell upon Les Brown's one of his video clip that says, "Oh, are you walking through life like a corpse? Like, are you committing, what did he call it, spiritual suicide, whereby you're doing things but you're not feeling like things are happening, right?" And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Oh, Les, you just talk to me." Then I just got into personal development. At that point, I was getting counseling, right? So I read the book and I posted it, As a Man Thinketh. If anybody has not read that book, everybody needs to read that book. Okay, you are your thoughts. You are who you are because you've chosen to be there. Circumstances, yes, do happen to you. My mom died. I didn't have control over that. But it's how I choose to think about the situation and how I choose to react to it that has made me be where I am today. I'm not kidding you. As soon as I read that and it sank in my head, I called the guy and I said, "Listen, I don't need to come to counseling anymore." It's like, "What do you mean?" I said, I can fix this. I just need to change how I think. I just need to change my perspective about life and start operating from a different thing. So we kept in touch with the phone calls, but I didn't have to go. But that was my turning point. That was when I said, wow, everything that is not working out in my life is because of me. And again, that's another lesson, the best lesson
Yeah.
ever. You are the only problem you're going to have, right? And people forget that. They want to be blamers. They want to be shamers. You got to claim your position. And the beauty of being the only problem you're going to have, guess what? You can fix you because you can never fix anybody else. And once I realized those things, I'm sitting there, I'm like, damn, this is gold, right? I don't have to worry about fixing A or B or my family, George, anybody. I just have to fix me. And that's what I did. Lots of personal development. You know, I'm a believer. Of course, God is a big key in my life, a lot of devotion time and just surrendering myself, but also trying to renew my mind. Because the Bible says, be ye renewed and transform your mind, right? How do you do that? It doesn't tell you, right? I'm sitting here, I'm
Yeah.
like, I have all this stuff stuck in here. Now I need to really reprogram my brain. And that's what I did from 2016, 2017. I was a junkie. I read and listened, went to conferences, invested so much money in my personal development. And I'm so grateful for that. And that's what brought me to write my book, because I wanted to tell people, wake up, you have great potential. You can do anything you choose to do. And the only person standing on your way is yourself. Get out of your own way and just do what you need.
That is amazing. We're going to be coming up with time. And, I had all these notes for you. And the more you talk, I just think you're amazing. What are you doing now with to help people? What are you doing?
So what I do coaching, right? I do business life coaching. That's what I say. But I specialize really, for me, my biggest thing is to help people bring harmony back in their homes. That is the biggest thing that I do. How do I do that? I help people to learn to create a balanced lifestyle. And balance doesn't mean that you're going to spend 8 hours with your kids, right? Because if you spend 8 hours with your kids, then you really can't work.
Yeah.
We all have 24 hours. If we sleep 7 to 8 hours, we only have 16 hours left. Most of us have to put 8 to 10 hours to work, right? Either a job or a business or whatever. So the few hours that you have left, how do you maximize them? How do you invest them? Most of us spend a lot of time spending our time, but how do we invest our time cautiously? The thing that I teach people is time management.
Let me do this because I have so much to ask you and we are going to run out of time. What I'd like to do is do 2 episodes with you. Let people know how they can reach you.
The best way to reach me, I'm all over Facebook. That's where Vicky found me, right?
That's
I'm
right.
on Facebook with my full name, Carolyne Onkoba. And you can just check my personal profile or my business profile. It's both using my name. I also have a website. It's carolyneonkoba.com. You can find information there. I have a little download about 12 disciplines that can help you accelerate your success. And you can also get my book from Amazon, which is Split Second Success. The other thing I'm offering all the listeners for Vicky, if you send me an email to Carolyne@carolyneonkoba.com, Vicky's going to give you write this out for you guys. and write on the subject, Vicky's name, I will send you an ebook, my ebook. I will share it to you. You don't have to pay for it. And the other thing I'm going to offer everybody that is going to listen to this podcast is a 15-minute consultation coaching. Actually, it's more a coaching session. Just come thinking of what is it that you feel stuck at and how can I help you? And I will give you my time. If it takes a little longer than 15 minutes, it's okay. But I'm going to offer that to all the listeners. And also that also can be found on my website at carolyne@carolyneonkoba.com. Or if you go to Facebook, under my business page at Carolyne Onkoba Coaching, there's a book now button. Just click there and it will come straight to my calendar, and just make sure you write a note there saying you're from Vicky, so I can know that who I'm talking to and where they're coming.
I so appreciate that. I need to get a copy of that book too. So I want to get in on that because you are amazing.
Thank you.
So here's more questions that I have because, you know, I'm a strong believer in your inner circle. One of the things that, well, let me start from the beginning because you should see how much my notes are. So there's 10 kids and 9 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah.
How many bathrooms did you guys have? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh,
just kidding.
What did I say? You can feed that many children with only 2 chicken and they can be full, you know?
There you go. There you go. So when she came here, she had $500, and I can so relate. Like I've shared my story. After my divorce, I had to reinvent myself, and I started my real estate investments with $500. So when you said that, and you know, I was a single mom, but my daughter had gone off to school. I remember like the struggles, and I remember I was being a single mom and not, you know, having $20 left. But your story, your testimony is just amazing. Working 4 jobs. You are the true example of wit. And that's what I always say, wit, whatever it takes. It's your mindset. And you just, I mean, there's nothing that can stop you. That you were and are unstoppable. That's just pretty much it. I think personally, the way you were brought up, your parents did an amazing job, and you share your story about when your mom passed away. Remember, people, the mom had 10 kids. 10. How many people were at her funeral, and what were they telling you?
Over 1,000 people, you know, and I always felt like they were a little bit greedy because they felt like they were missing out. Mom, like, this is our mother, but more people felt that they had entitlement to my mother than we did. And up to now, because I remember a cousin that my parents raised, fainted when he heard that my mother passed. Right? And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, what do you mean I'm okay? That's my mother. I'm like, oh, I forgot that. She gave birth to me, you know? So that's the kind of funeral we had. Like, who is going to win the trophy of like, who was mothered more, right? And people were just having so much gratitude towards my mom because she put a lot of people through school. She fed a lot of different families. And these things we didn't know. I knew my mom was giving. I knew my mom was very generous, but I didn't know what extent it was till the day of a funeral. Like, there was people pouring out, just coming to really celebrate and mourn the loss of this woman, you know?
That is amazing. The legacy that she left behind. And I think that's where you get it from. You don't realize, and we as kids and for our own kids, my daughter, I never thought she would listen when I would be working. I was always 200% in everything that I did. But I see her now and how she works, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a little mini me. And that's what you're doing. Hearing your story, you're your little mini like your mom. You know, you just have that drive. Failure is not an option for you. You're just doing it.
I remember during the eulogy, because my dad picked me to do the eulogy. I told them I'm the different kid in the family, right? So they told me they wanted someone from the family to read the eulogy. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay. And with that pass, my dad was like, you're gonna read it, right? But I'm sharing that to say that, you know, when we're talking about when we were reading her story, I said to the people, and I still said, the only disease that I took from my mom that I would really want to give in is about working hard or overworking, right? And people are just like laughing. I said, I've become my mother in that sense. And it's a good thing. It's just that now we have to have healthy boundaries. We have to balance this life so that we can enjoy it as we go. You know,
and that's the key is, and I'm guilty of that too. Like you said, I mean, you said it perfectly. We only have 24 hours in one day, and we get so focused that sometimes it is hard and we don't see what we are doing at home. I've, you know, at points in my life, thinking back at one point, I felt guilty because I had to, you know, I worked so much, but also you needed to work. So a healthy balance, it's good. And it's good that you're realizing and you have the time to build those relationships, you know, that relationship with your daughter and whatnot. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, so you do coaching and you help people find this balance and connecting, you know, with the right circle, because everything comes together in my book. You need to have the right mindset, the right determination, focus, but it's also good to have the right to have balance.
It's good to have balance. Also, community is important, you know. And it's good that you mentioned mindset, because everybody who comes to me, my coaching is very holistic. You know, I'm talking spiritual, we're talking fitness, we talk about how you eating, how you sleeping. They're looking at me like, is that what you're coaching? I said, those things are essential and fundamental, but your mindset is extremely important, because if you don't have a good mindset, I can coach you all you want to be coached, but you're going to see like superficial results. And in a few days, they're going to be gone. And you're like, what happened? Why am I going back? That's why it's very important to really work on the mindset. And I don't think you can do coaching without mindset.
And I like what you said. You guys, if you did not listen to part one, you have to go listen to it. You said that once you clicked, you realized that you were the problem. So a lot of people like to put blame on others. They don't realize what we personally do wrong. We don't take accountability for what we do wrong. Yes, other stuff does happen, but it's out of your control. But the part that you said, you got excited when you realized it was you. You said, that was it. I could fix me. I can't fix other people, but I could fix me. So it was all uphill from there. I love that.
And when I coach people, I always tell them, and it's hard. It's hard for people because people come with so much baggage. I'm sitting there, I'm like, are you done talking? Good. You're the problem. They're like, what do you mean I'm the problem? I told you this and I told you that, my husband, my job, my this. I say, no, you're the only problem. Because you can choose to react very different to those circumstances or those things that are happening in your life, and then things will change. But also, I always tell people this, and I think we didn't mention this before. If everything in your world is not going the way you want it, check yourself out. Because there is no way, because we attract, as they use it, I'm going to use that word loosely. You know, we attract who we are. We are the environment, the people that reflect to us, want to be around us, the people they are us, you know, because really water and oil doesn't mix. So if your vibration is high and you have high energy and you're a very positive person, you can't tell me some person is going to come and rock your world. No. So if you're having issues, again, that's why we go back to the whole thing. The problem is you. You know, when you walk in the Stone Starbucks in the morning and the lady doesn't smile, why didn't you smile first? Oh, she didn't smile at me. Oh, they didn't do this. But you just slammed the door on somebody. You know what I'm saying? So if you hold the door and smile, if you go smile at the cashier who's having a bad day, you don't even know how they woke up, they're going to smile back. Create. That's why I don't tell people have a good day. I say, make it a good day. Make it a beautiful day, because you decide to create and make things in your life. So if it's not beautiful, there's only two sides to everything, right? You have polar opposites. So if you don't like the right side, flip the coin on the other side. It's a beautiful thing, you know, and that's what
I mean, I don't, I, that is the best advice that I've heard for a long time.
Thank you.
Take accountability for what you're doing. Yes, are things, I mean, it's life. Things are going to come in life that you cannot control, but you're right. We do attract, we attract the people how we are. Um, Not to say that you might be all positive and there might be some negative people that come into your life, but then why do you keep them in your inner circle? You know, there's a reason. Why are you still there? So you can make the changes, and I think that is perfect. I love that you're so direct and honest, and I think, you know, some people may not want to hear it, but it's the truth. You can control your time. I think it's I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
I for sure I want you in my inner circle. That's for sure. Let's see here, because I have so much, you know, all these little sayings that she has. It's great to just kind of repeat yourself. Take action. How many times have people missed boats because they didn't take the action? Um, when something is given to you, present it. You have so much opportunity, so many times. I mean, do you come across this a lot with students? They uh, take their time, or I have to think about it, and then the
So
boat
I,
itself.
yeah, I mean, there is people out there who are not action takers. And I had to kind of fire two of my students or clients because you keep feeding people. And I'm sitting them like, but you're going back to square one every time you come back and want to, like, why are we going back to square one? I asked. Have you done this assignment? Have you done this? Have you done, because coaching is like having a buddy, right? Somebody who is unbiased, who is trying to hold the torch for you. That's how I look at myself. So, but if you're not taking action and implementing the things, then you're not going to see change.
Yeah.
Right. And I have seen that. And I tell people, no, and I remember there's a couple, I have like two couples that I've coached, right? It's very interesting to coach couples. And I've given them these assignments, you know, week 1, week 2, and they're sitting there. So I said, listen, I have a deal for you. They say, what is it? I said, we have a call. We normally used to coach on Sundays. If you're not done with your assignment by Sunday, 11 o'clock, the coaching call is canceled for this evening. But if you finish it, text me and we'll jump on the call. And it was the most beautiful thing. And I think because I'm younger than them, you know, these people in their 50s, 60s. So it's like, you got to do it in a respectful way, but you also have to be firm because I really care about people's success, right? So it was so funny. I got my text at 10 o'clock in the morning. They're like, we are done. And it was, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it done, you know? And I was, you know, when I do my Facebook lives, I still freak out at times, but I had to do my first one. I remember sitting in my living room and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do this Facebook live. I can't believe it. What are people gonna think? And every time, because if you're bringing value to the world, I mean, there is those monkeys in your head that are gonna tell you you're not good enough, you're not this, you gotta shut them off and just go say, go say what you got to say. And remember, there's 7 billion people. That's the beautiful thing. And not all 7 billion are gonna like you or hate you. So they're gonna be haters, they're gonna be all these other people, but there's somebody who your story or your message is always gonna touch. And that's what I go for every day. Whose life am I gonna serve today? Not 100, just one life. And I'm
Just
happy.
one. That's all, the one to make a difference. Yes, you have to be coachable. If you're so stuck in your ways, hey, if that's been working out for you, then you don't need to be coached. Um, but if you've had struggles or things are not going right, then have the open mindset. Have to see it. There's always, you know, two sides to a story, and then there's the truth, I always say. But how you take your side can make a big difference in how, you know, you see things. So it's really important. I've had many people that they look, you know, they had something tragic happen in their lives and have done amazing things, and you can always get stuck on that one issue or that tragic. But if you just change your mindset and look at, hey, I had to go through that to get to where I'm at, that is the person that you are today. So look into, I mean, changing your mindset is key. I strongly suggest contact Carolyne because half of, I'll even say more than half of the battle, any business, life, business, relationships, your mindset will determine your success.
So something to touch on there real quick about, people's stories. Get out of your own story, and I tell people this, and I remember Laura Langmeyer, the millionaire maker lady, was telling us that you have to interrupt your story. The reason why most people get stuck where they're stuck, because they love telling their story. And each time they tell them, they make even bigger and bigger and bigger. Why are you telling a story if it's not a good story, right? You can share an experience like I'm doing now, but you're sharing an experience, but don't go have a pity party every day. And people have to interrupt their story. We all have a story. Just interrupt it, right?
I love it.
As far as problems are concerned with business or work, people don't have business problems and people don't have work problems. People have personal problems that seep into their work and seep into their business. Because at the end of the day, the only common denominator is you, right? And people always think like, oh, let me go quadruple my income. Oh, I can do You can't. Till you change your mindset, you change your inner stance and become a better person, then everything else flows. Because there's the whole attraction thing, the law of attraction, people forget. It's the vibration, right? If you're not vibrating as a positive area and you're not vibrating in this harmonious way, things are not going to come your way. All that is going to come your way is the negative stuff that you're emitting. And I always encourage people, like, really work on you and everything else is going to fall into place.
You're 100% right. You are 100% right. Carolyne, we're going to be running out of time. The great thing is she has been amazing. And for all the listeners and viewers, she's doing something fantastic. So let me have her tell you about it.
So for the listeners and viewers, because my real thing is success. I really enjoy seeing people's successes and I want everybody to succeed. So anybody who is listening or watching can send me an email to Carolyne at carolyneonkoba.com. And on the title, just write Vicky and say, hey, send me your free copy of Split Second Success, or send me the book, or send me, just write that and I will send you a copy of my book. My book is amazing, not because it's mine, but because it has changed a lot of lives, right? And it's very brief. It's only 50 something pages. I have Audible. I have it on Amazon and everything, but I will give you the book for free, an ebook for free. So just send me a message. Make sure you write Vicky's name there. Another thing I'm offering to everybody, because at times we really don't know that we can make it or break through those walls unless you get somebody to look at your problem or your challenge with a different set of eyes. So I'm going to offer you a free coaching session. And how you're going to get this, go on Facebook at Carolyne Onkoba Coaching and just click on book now. And right there, it's going to take you to my calendar. And under the notes, please write that you're coming from Vicky, and I'll take wonderful care of you. And my desire is for everybody to live a full life, every moment of it, and make their dash count. That is what I really want.
Is she not amazing? I mean, seriously, who does all that? I definitely want a copy of that book. I need to hear it. I'm going to read it. Get a hold of her, Carolyne Onkoba, on Facebook, and then you have the website, right?
Yes, carolyneonkoba.com.
Perfect. So you can get a hold of her that way. Don't forget to mention my name, so then that way you get all this free stuff. And hey, let's get you started into being successful or taking your business to the next level, whichever one it is.
Yes.
All right. Thank you again, Carolyne, for being here. I truly, truly appreciate you, and you are beyond amazing. You are the true example of wit, whatever it takes.
Thank you.